What is up, everybody? This is Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. Last time we got together, I was at home sipping on some of that good bourbon, but all good things must come to an end. Wanted to talk about a driver that just refused to listen to me yesterday, but we'll get to that in a second. Just want to tell you where I'm at. I am out here at the 19 Fuel Network in Tyler, Texas. That will be I-20, exit 571. Now, I was originally going to stay over at, there's a Sefco across the street, but I was going to come here to this 19 Network. They have a Texas best smokehouse in there. Been craving some smoked sausage, so I just ordered a little bit of that, and I was going to drive over to the Sefco because they generally have good parking spots, and part of being a cautious driver is parking your place where shit won't get hit. But I came over here, man, these spots over here are huge. They're like damn near as big as like a Sheetz. So I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna stay here and leave out about 2 in the morning, about 5 hours away. So it'll be longer than a 10-hour break. But one of the things, new people listen, you know, I always talk about doing your 10 and getting straight up and leaving out, but you also got to factor in when you're going to find parking, when you're not. And like my trainer used to always say, there's always a spot, and there generally is, but I'm going to be down there by New Orleans, so that does tighten things up a little bit. So I'm going to get down there kind of early in the morning-ish. So I didn't want to roll in there like 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, so that's that. So, what have I been doing? Well, spent some time at home, let Jan, my other driver, drive this truck while his truck was in the shop, so I got a little bit of time off unexpectedly, but that was a good little break. Then went out to Springfield to rented a car, went back out to Springfield, got back into this truck, and that's been it. So went out to Springfield, got a load out to Denver, dropped that off 2 days ago. King Supers in Denver. And then I got a load coming out of Dodge City going to a 3-stopper. Baton Rouge. Actually, okay, so that's where I'm going to be stopping. Baton Rouge. Then I'm going to be going to New Orleans. And then Loxley, Alabama, or some shit like that. So anyway, as far as picking this load up, you know, the load was early, and that was another thing. I communicated with my fleet manager, hey, listen, I'm gonna be getting unloaded. I should be done about 2,000 hours with a full clock. Can I get a pre-plan or at least a direction to go? So got a pre-plan, drove it out a little bit, decided to call and see if the load was ready. Load was actually ready. The drop dead time on this load was today in a couple hours. So I picked it up probably 28 hours or 26 hours early. Or no, I had the opportunity to pick it up 26 hours early. What ended up happening was I was planning on getting to the load at like 06 in the morning. But them highways out there were like slick as fuck coming across Kansas and all that kind of stuff. Had I known, I would have probably taken a more southern route. There's a way to get out to Dodge City going south once you're kind of in that Colorado area, and I just did not think about it. I thought that the storm was behind me, which for the most part it was, but what it was a little light snow that had probably hit a little bit earlier. And we're talking about between Oakley, Colby, Waukene, and actually I didn't get all the way down to Waukene. And then the fog was, I did go south earlier than I planned on it. But the fog had like iced over. So I was supposed to drive down, I forget the exit. There's a 24/7 truck stop down there. I went south at exit 70 as opposed to, might be an exit 137 or 127, but I realized that if I got far enough south, I was going to be good because the weather pattern was dry down that way. Anyway, so got down there probably about 11. Actually, so yeah, I still did pick it up 26 hours early. Instead of 05 or 6, I got there at about 11:30, 12 in the afternoon, and got the load. I was pretty light on hours. When you're in Dodge City, you have to have time to get to a truck stop. There's the 2 truck stops that are out there. You got the Pilot and you got the Loves. And then the route I was taking, I knew there's a truck stop maybe 25 miles down the road. But once you pass that up, there's nothing for about 2.5, 3 hours, something like that. So I only had an hour, actually 56 minutes left on my clock. So I just stopped at the Flying J, shut it down, woke up at 11, got driving. So what happened yesterday? I'm going to pick up my load, and there's a driver there, and I forget the company he was with, but that didn't matter. Blue truck. I could tell he was a new driver, and he was going back to the shipper to get the load reworked. So I'm always, the guy seemed like he was open, nice, and he was nice and all that kind of stuff. So I was just, trying to shoot the shit with him because he was kind of holding me up. And I'm like, what's going on? He's like, well, man, I need to get this load reworked or whatever because I'm overweight and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, he had a scale ticket. I was like, what's your weights? He's like, I'm 34. I think it was 34.8. Either 34.8 or 34.7 and some change, and then 31 on the back. And I was like, man, I'd run that load. I said, you know what? You got an APU on your truck? He's like, yeah. I said, well, okay, that's like, let's just say that the exemption, if you averaged him out over the states, because he was going to outside of Nashville, let's say 400 pounds, so that takes your 34.8 down to 34.4. He said that he went there with the full tank of fuel. The nearest weigh station is going to be from there, somewhere in Oklahoma, and that's like 200 and something miles away. Plus, he was going to be leaving out in the middle of the night. That's when he planned on. Actually, no, he wasn't going to be leaving out. I was going to be leaving out in the middle of the night. Anyway, either way, he wasn't going to hit a scale for 250 miles. He's going to burn off a bunch of fuel. And then, you know what? Just run on, a half a tank or less than half of a tank, and you're good to go. But he wasn't hearing it. He said that he wasn't going to risk his CDL over 800 pounds. And I didn't say this to him, but in my mind, I'm like thinking, man, it's a CDL. It ain't no NBA contract. It ain't nothing like that. You get a ticket and you roll on. I mean, I ain't going to stress too much about it. As a matter of fact, on this load, load's supposed to be 41,000 pounds, which I'm sure it is. Slid my tandems, and I tried to slide them till I was like 34 on the front, which I did. And then I went to the back, and the back was like 35 and a half or 36. I could tell that the trailer hadn't probably been calibrated. So I was like, you know what? If I'm 34 on the front, I got to be good on the back. I know they say that in the sales meetings, and they sound corny saying it. But I've been saying that shit sounding just as corny as them from way back when. So I just went ahead and rolled it. But, what this guy... Oh, and he waited 15 hours on his load. So he waited 15 hours on his load to go pick up a load, to go scale it, to take it back to the shipper over 800 pounds, which he's going to burn off some of that. Plus, he has an exemption. So I don't know how long that's going to be, but unless he enjoys relaxing at the shipper, I don't know. But to me, that just didn't seem like it was a logical decision. But some people covet these CDLs probably a little bit more than I do. I mean, it's not that I don't think it's worth taking serious, but I mean, a scale ticket, if you get a ticket like, and an accident, or driving under the influence, or speeding like 10 miles over, something like that. That's one thing. But we're talking about a weight ticket. Yeah, no, I'm taking that chance. So anyway, that's that. Today it is about 1300. I don't deliver this till tomorrow at midnight. So where I plan on stopping, I picked out 3 places. There's a rest area, there's a off-brand truck stop out there, and then there's a Love's out there. Now I looked at the Love's, it's pretty close to it, and that parking lot looks like a kind of place where you can get trapped in there. So if I plan on leaving out like a little bit before midnight, I could just see potentially that being a problem. So I got my eye on a rest area, and I got my eyes on, I forget the name of the truck stop out there, but that should put me within 35-40 miles of that. Go in there, deliver that. Now here's the problem. Deliver it basically, I need to take a look. Midnight. My next drop is, I think it's 56. I don't know, whatever the distance between Baton Rouge and New Orleans is. But that, depending on how quick, this is one of those times when you really want them to unload you slow, because I need to burn some time. Now, I don't mind getting this a restaurant depot. I don't mind getting to a restaurant depot early. But if I'm going into New Orleans, that sun got to be out. You know what I'm saying? I'm not stopping in especially, maybe a truck stop if they have one down there. But I am not stopping at no place on the side of no random road in New Orleans just begging for somebody to shoot me up. So, we'll play that one by ear. But anyway, that's about it. Didn't have anything to say. I know it's been a while since I've been on here, but that's about it. But just wanted to say I do appreciate you guys stopping by No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. As always, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.